Power and Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, an introduction, California Bay Area 1960s, 1970s. By the mid-1960s, most of the country, especially in urban areas, engulfed in social unrest. People of all racial and class backgrounds committed themselves to radical change, while others held firmly to the status quo. The Bay Area in particular was a hotbed for social and political activism. The multitudes engaged in the free speech movement, the Third World Liberation Front, the People's Park protest, and countless marches and protests against the Vietnam War, to just name a few. By the mid-1960s, a younger generation of civil rights activists will come to age, and there will be a distinct shift in approach, tactics, and methods for attaining civil rights. The older generation will be associated with Martin Luther King Jr. and the idea of integration, and to a certain extent assimilation, nonviolence, and working within the existing socio-economic and political structures and systems. The younger generation began calling for militant activism and associated themselves with community empowerment, nationalism, black power. And while race was still central to their struggle, many organizations developed a class analysis and advocated alternative socio-economic and political systems through revolution. This younger generation began to feel disillusioned by the peaceful tactics. They argued too little and too late, and began to reject the assimilationist preaching by the older generation of civil rights activists. The continuous cases of police brutality, witnessing their leaders being assassinated, principally Malcolm X in 1965 and Martin Luther King in 1968, and further, the countless young Americans being killed in Vietnam, pushed a new generation towards militant action. Black Power is a movement among black people throughout the world, especially those in the United States. Most prominent in the late 1960s and early 1970s, the movement emphasized racial pride and the creation of black political and cultural institutions to nurture and promote black collective interests, advance black values, and secure black autonomy. While there were several recognized black militant organizations throughout the country, the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense remains the most prominent. Founded by Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale in Oakland, California, the Black Panthers rejected a nonviolent, defenseless approach to gaining civil rights. They were influenced and drew inspiration from Malcolm X and also the Algerian writer Frantz Fanon, and later drew their class analysis from communist leaders Karl Marx, Mao Zedong, and Lenin. They drew up a 10-point plan, which was a manifesto that outlined their platform and program. It called for self-defense of the black community and fundamental change in America, including the necessity of a revolutionary movement that would overthrow U.S. capitalism. In its inception, the Black Panthers focused on self-defense of the black community. Because of the long history of police brutality in almost every black community across the nation, and especially in Oakland, California, they felt it necessary to stand up to this long historical repression. Black Panthers began to patrol their own neighborhoods with armed rifles, protecting Oakland's black community from the Oakland Police Department by intervening when they witnessed harassment or false arrests. The Panther leadership was extremely intelligent and always operated within the law. They understood and made it clear to the police that it was their constitutional right to carry arms and to protect themselves and their community. This, of course, inflamed the local police and also struck fear in the surrounding white community. In May 1967, the Black Panthers marched into California legislature fully armed, protesting a bill that would deny the bearing of arms in public space. Bobby Seale argued that blacks had the constitutional right to protect themselves. While the bill would pass, disarming the Panthers in public, it was one of several events that drew heavy media attention. This display of courage and power encouraged hundreds of urban blacks to join the Black Panthers. While gun-toting leather jackets and black berets created media coverage, the Black Panthers' purpose was not only to protect the black community, but it was also to serve its needs. This was evident in their survival program that provided services such as free breakfast programs, education programs, literacy programs, job placements, and assistance for small businesses, neighborhood clinics, grocery giveaways, the manufacture and distribution of free shoes and clothing, senior transport and services programs, and free busing to prisons and prisoner support and legal aid programs. These programs were at the core of the Panthers and ultimately won the community's broad support. The people openly responded to their agenda, programs, and practices, and soon had the ability to mobilize hundreds and many times thousands of people for various critical social and political issues and events. In every urban ghetto across the country, from Oakland, Los Angeles, to Chicago and New York, Black Panther branches began to form. Revolution was the ultimate goal for the Black Panther Party. What set the Panthers apart from other black militant organizations of this era was their strong class analysis. They openly rejected many other black organizations' tendencies of narrow nationalism. They all power to the people, meaning all people, regardless of race and ethnicity. Practicing self-defense and instituting the various community programs met the people's needs and gave the party strength and credibility in the community. But state repression, discrimination, racism, unemployment, lack of education and opportunities, etc., will continue to plague the black community if capital continued to exist. In other words, it was fruitless to work within the existing social and political and economic structures. These systems and institutions would have to be completely torn down in order to achieve true liberation.